Hey, Josie with Queen My Pawn. Today I'm going to show you a couple of games where I destroyed my opponent respectfully in under 25 moves. And let's start off with, I guess I could start off with this one. Let's start off with this one. They're both funny games. So, e4, e5. In case you haven't noticed, my plan is to castle the other way and just throw my pawns at them and basically win the game with a pawn storm. Basic strategy. So h4 is just completely premature, and I have no intention of castling kingside. And I've never revealed that, so this move doesn't make any sense. Okay, knight c6. He played h5 again, which is just a waste of time. b6, h6, bishop b7, and of course if pawn takes and bishop takes, and I'm just fine. Queen to g4, queen to f6, and everything's protected. I can even play bishop f6 if I want to, but queen f6 would be better. Obviously, queen to e7, so I can queenside castle, and he's opening up the center when I'm ahead in development, so it makes no sense. That's a free pawn, and my queen cannot be attacked easily, except for that rook move, which honestly I didn't see, and I guess that's the idea of h4, h5, h6. But I did see that I can attack this pawn, and so I move my queen to g6. Now he did take on d4, and he probably expected me to take the pawn, but then he has bishop f3. But I never even considered taking the pawn. It's just that I need to keep my development going, and taking that pawn's not going to do anything for me. I don't have any sort of checkmate anytime soon. So knight f6, brilliant move. This move is so powerful. It controls the center, and it prevents any sort of rook to g4 or bishop to h5 ideas. So knight to f6 is probably one of the best moves ever invented in all of chess. Bishop f3, right? He protects the pawn, but I don't care. I've castled, and my king is safe. His is not. He still has to castle queenside. Is he going to leave his pieces there? Okay. Now I'm attacking the knight with tempo, because now I'm playing rook h e8 check. He moves the knight to b5, which doesn't really attack anything except for c7, but my attack is stronger. Rook to rook h e8. He played king to f1, but maybe bishop to e2 wouldn't work. I just have queen takes g2 and queen to f2, and that is not looking good. Even though he does have bishop takes c7 or knight takes c7, but that doesn't do anything for his position. So now I pin the knight, and it's not the knight that I want, but I want to get more control of the middle, and clearly I'm just completely dominating the middle. If you can get a knight on d4 as black, you're basically winning. Same thing for white. If you can get a knight on d5, you're winning. Everything's just under control here. He is, look, everything's just up there. He has nothing. Tries to counterattack with queen a4, but the thing is he has checkmate. But he won't have time to do that after queen to e3, rook to e1, knight takes bishop. Now he doesn't have checkmate anymore. And now I'm threatening my own checkmate with rook to h1. This can obviously be defended with knight to d2, but that won't work either, because after the next brilliant move, Morphy said it himself best: help your pieces so they can help you. Also said on the Lichess site, which is where I found out about the quote. Rook d e8. And seeing that white has nothing, I'm going to threaten to push my rook to e3. Either rook works. He doesn't care, and That's why he lost the game. He resigned. The next game is even better. I've seen a lot of people play this opening, but I'm gonna castle queenside, and I'm starting to become ahead in development. Queen a5 is not a move. I've never seen that in my life. No. Queen d2, obviously, to unpin the knight. So knight f6, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, queen takes queen, knight takes queen, winning a piece. This is not good. At least play knight c6 here. The thing maybe he saw was if knight c6 and d5. I don't think I would have played d5. I would have probably just played knight to f3. The game would have continued, but he's not fighting for the center at all. That's a surrender of the center. And now I have the initiative attacking the rook, and my queen is centralized. I want you guys to see this. Everything that comes to the queen will be sucked in. And by that, I mean that you better get these things out of the red arrows or you're done. And if my white pieces are in the red arrows, they are strengthened. The ones that are on the other side are weakened. It's like a black hole. So knight f6. Now I see that my queen is going to be attacked with knight c6. Let me stop his attack. Now what? He has no attack. So I'm going to start pawn storming, like I said at the beginning of the video, with f4. He plays castles, which he plays right into my hands. Now let me control the center more with knight f3. My king is safe. There is no dark squared bishop. He does have that move when I castle quite safely. And rook to b4. Now that is an interesting move. At least interesting. It's a good move. It attacks my queen. I can't play queen d3 because of bishop a6. And I had seen that, so I moved my queen to e3. Now I had a trick here. If knight to g4, I have queen e1. And I am thinking about queen h4, knight to g5, or queen h4, queen h6, knight g5. And if knight f6, then e5 would have been a cool way to continue, but he just gives me the game. Pawn takes. He's expecting that I take the knight and queen takes e7, but that's not in my plans. No way, Jose. Instead, I see that this is terrible if I could put a knight there. So first, let me get my queen even more centralized. This pins the queen, by the way. This is the reason for my move. The queen's pinned. Now this is just bad. So I see that I had checkmate here with rook takes knight and knight to e7. So the queen moves to the wrong square. I was expecting at least queen c7, but then knight takes is winning. Knight takes knight is winning. Now I would just win the game. So he never had a chance because he gave up the center. And I knew that he gave up the center, so in my mind I'm thinking this guy is soft. He has no purpose being here. But I crushed him respectfully, and that's all that really matters. That's how you crush an opponent or opponents in under 25 moves. You have to read them. You have to read what they're doing. Like in the first game, he was pushing his pawn to h4, h5, h6, and these are experts. They're in the 2000 to 2200 range. The ones in the 2200 and above are a bit tougher. They're not making easy mistakes in the opening like these two did, but they're also not going for my king, which is quite sad because chess is about going for the king. If you can do that, you can win the game.